Hi, Angela here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela. I lost 200 pounds, fell in love with running. Now I'm trying to live the healthiest life I possibly can while being mom. I have to change that up because I am adding more reading content in here into my videos. It's running, it's reading, it's just general like how to be productive type, like that's just me. So I'll have to find a way to change it up a little bit. I don't know, it's like when you've been doing one thing for so long, it's kind of hard. But you're not here for that. You are here for the monthly wrap up. I'm going to try really hard to sit down and get these videos done. And here I am on the last day of the month and we are doing a reading wrap up. So I'm not one of those booktubers that reads like 25 books in a month. I don't have time for that. I have a full-time job. I have a child. I have all that. So this is like a more realistic, like reading type thing. Okay, so in the month of March, I read 8 books. For the most part, I read all of my books on the Kindle. I do have like a couple of books that I buy from time to time, but most of my stuff is going to be on the Kindle so that I can read it on the go and not have to worry about bending my books and doing all that stuff. So let's get started. The first book I read this month was Meet Me in the Margins by Melissa Ferguson. Honestly and truly, this was the first book I read, and it was probably the least meaningful book that I read. I couldn't even remember the characters, and sometimes like when I finish a book but I don't know what I want to read, then I'll just go scroll through Kindle Unlimited to find books that are free. Yes, I know that I'm paying for them, but I'll scroll through them. So this is one that I saw. So Meet Me in the Margins. I gave it 2.5 stars. This was just like a regular romance book. There was like no spice, no steam, anything. It was just a, hey, I'm gonna feel good about myself type of book. It follows Savannah, who wants to be a romance writer. She is a low-level editor at a publishing house that only does like basically like highbrow like non-fiction books. But because she works in publishing, she gets to meet with a whole bunch of people, and she has an offer to rewrite her book so maybe it can be pitched to other publishers. And so she's got a really small time frame to get it all done. Her life is just, she's on the downward path, but this is something that she feels like could lift her up. So she goes about writing this book and then somehow gets mysterious help from someone at work who like, she randomly left her book in the book room and someone started reading it and started making notes. And so she figured that that was the only way that she was going to be able to get through her book. So she develops this relationship with someone who is helping her with her book. But, sorry, my phone is ringing and that is distracting me. And she somehow falls in love with this person along the way, not really knowing who it is. And, you know, it's just a very, very cute story. And I do recommend, if you just want like a really good feel-good story, this is it for you. Okay, so let's move on to the next book. The next book I read was 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. And I don't know if I was talking about books back then. I think I was. But she wrote The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which was a very, very good series. And so I was excited for her next set of books to come out. 5 Survive is one of those books that came, and this is basically about 6 friends that go, this is a YA thriller book, okay? It's about 6 friends that go on a spring break trip. They're road tripping and they get lost and they end up in this situation which makes more sense after the story unwinds. And so basically only 5 of the friends make it out alive, and so they are put in the situation where they each have to like spill their secrets. And it's just the way that it's written hour by hour, so it's literally them trying to survive the night. And it's actually a really great story. The character development isn't really that strong, but the actual plot and everything is really, really good, and it just left me intrigued. Like, the chapters were short and I just kept on rolling through it, and it was just a very, very good read. It kind of fell flat at the end when you actually, the twists were great, but like it was kind of like, oh, okay, kind of moments. But I feel like that you're gonna get that in any kind of thriller book, especially in a YA thriller, because they're not really gonna go there. This had elements in the book that I wish that Good Girl's Guide to Murder would have had. So it was overall a really, really good book. I would definitely recommend it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. The next book that I read was Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. Alright, so I read the first 2 books last February, and I do believe that I kind of did talk about it, about these books. This is the 3rd book in the series. This is by Elle Cosimano, and this is just still following Finlay in these ridiculous antics that are going on in her life. She is still trying to escape the criminal masterminds that think that she is a hitman, and at the end of the day she is just trying to take care of her family and support her family, but she keeps getting wrapped up in this world, and it's very, very funny how things accidentally happen and work out for her. Meanwhile, she is falling in love with a police detective, which is problematic because she is wrapped up in this criminal underbelly, and she has, you know, committed some crimes, but not on purpose. You know, not that that matters. And then there's Vera, which is her nanny slash her best friend slash her sidekick, who has her own like criminal problems that are coming into the mix. And Vera is there for comic relief. I love her so much. She has some of the best quotes in the entire book. Like, let me pull one up. Maybe I should have been a little bit more prepared for this, but it's worth it. She has some of the best stuff. Alright, I actually thought that I had annotated this book a little bit more, but I may have just been rolling through. But here's one. She says, "This is the age of sex positivity, body positivity, and the hashtag Me Too. It's Lizzo's world, Finn. We're all just living in it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't have your dessert." Like, it is... She has like these little bombs throughout the entire book, and I love it. So, you do have to suspend, like, these are cozy mysteries kind of, so like you have to suspend your belief system a little bit to really, really enjoy them. But it's Vera that really makes the story for me and makes me want to keep reading and keeping it light and funny. So the book that I read after this was called The Highland Fling, another Kindle Unlimited book, because I've had a really bad like reading slump in February. So like when I was coming into March, I was like more in a reading mood, but like I hadn't really been thinking about books that I wanted to read. So here I am hopping back on that Kindle Unlimited. So I read The Highland Fling by Meghan Quinn. I gave this 3 stars. This was like, is it what they call like a grumpy sunshine type of romance thing? Bonnie and her best friend are getting evicted from their apartment in Los Angeles, and so they answer a help wanted ad to go run a coffee shop in a small Scottish town. Like, whoa, how does that happen? But they go, the coffee shop ends up being owned by Rowan, who is the grumpy dude, and he's upset because his parents are going on holiday and didn't tell him, and so then he's forced to be around these new people, and he's not happy. But Bonnie is just like so happy and sunshiny, and she's trying to make him happy. They both go through like their own personal like demons, and they fight those, which lead them together for a picture perfect romance. So I mean, it is what it is. It's a little spicy. It's not and yeah, it's a little spicy. Well, I'll just say that, but it's a cute book. Like, if you need like a palate cleanser in between your thrillers or your mysteries or things like that, and you're into romance books, then that's not a bad book to read. So the next book that I read was Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you've read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book, then you know, like, there's no surprise. It is historical fiction, and Taylor Jenkins Reid really can put you in the mood, in the moment, in the era, and she can make you feel like that crap is real. Like, if you've read any of her books, then you know. They're not all my favorites, but she can definitely put you in the moment. So this one takes place in 1983, and it tells the story of Nina Riva and her family. I guess they're famous, and it just tells the backstory of how the Rivas became the Rivas and everything that they had to overcome to be who they are. And every year they throw this epic party, so it's like they're telling a backstory of how they became the Rivas, but then also the countdown to the actual party and all of these events that are going to happen. And it's just, I mean, Taylor Jenkins Reid can take you there, and it's completely amazing. The research and the storytelling is top notch. Like, I don't think anybody else can do it quite the way that she does. I gave this book, what did I give it? I gave it 4.5 stars. It's, you know, it's just a well-written book that just, a book for me should like make you escape and like put you in this world that you never, you know, that's different from your world. And if I feel like if someone can do that, then that's a damn good book. And so that's why I'm gonna rate it so high. I would recommend this book to other people, and yeah, it's just a really, really great book and great storytelling. Okay, the next book that I read is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I actually did like a whole reading vlog on this because I am trying to expand my reading content. So I haven't put it up yet, but maybe by the time that this video goes up, I will have put up my video for Ender's Game. This is a sci-fi novel, and it came out in the 80s. So like when I was like 4 or 5, this book came out. So many people have heard about it. I guess it's required military reading for some branches of the military. So this was my first go at sci-fi, and I actually didn't hate it. I really liked this book. 4 stars. So it's complicated. So I just thought it would be better if I read a synopsis. So, in order to develop a secure defense against a hostile alien race's next attack, government agencies breed child geniuses and train them as soldiers. This follows Ender Wiggins on a journey at the battle school, and he is the chosen one because he's got great leadership skills. And I don't want to speak too much about it because I have like a whole vlog that I'm going to put up. But Ender is like the 3rd child, so he is basically bred to be this military machine. And so he's ripped from his family. The only one that he really cares about is his sister Valentine. He's got a brother, Peter, that is like not a good person. But he goes off to the battle school and he's young. He's like 6, okay? So they have him and they're training him, and Ender is like the bomb.com. But he's the smallest kid in there, and he gets picked on, and it's like basically the people that are the adults and are supposed to be watching after him are watching him to make him grow into like this fierce fighting machine type, like mentally, you know, like they don't physically want him chopping it up out in the field. But so it just follows his journey over like this 6-year period of him trying to develop relationships with other people and fight against who he's supposed to be. And like there's a lot of strategy talk and all of that kind of stuff in this book, but man, it was really, really good. That's all I can say. Like, it was good. It surprised me at how good this book was. And sci-fi is usually not my genre, but I took a chance because I read all different types of books here, and it was pretty amazing. I gave the book like 4 stars, and I would definitely recommend. It is part of a huge series of books. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the whole series. I do want to know what's going to happen in the next book. So, you know, once you fall down the rabbit hole, that's what happens. But it's like 20 books, I think. I don't think I can commit to reading 20 books, but I can commit to reading the first little series of them, of the 3 books. So, definitely recommend if you're into that. Alright, so the next book that I read this month was Magnolia Parks by, I keep want to say it's by Tessa Bailey, but it's by Jessa Hastings. Okay. So this book has been all the rage. It's been on everything. I've known people that have gotten arcs of it and they were reading it, and like finally it came to Kindle Unlimited. I wasn't sure if I wanted to pay for it, even though I am paying for it, and I read it. Okay, these books are thick. Like, that's the only bad thing about me showing you these books on my Kindle. This is not even the Kindle I read on. I read on my Kindle Scribe. Okay, this is just the one that I bought so that I could take pictures with my with colored covers. Okay, anyway, so yeah, this is a contemporary fiction romance type. It's not really romance. I'm just going to call it contemporary fiction. It follows Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne, and they have like a very, people called it toxic, and I call it a tumultuous relationship. When I think about toxic, maybe it's just like my age, you know, I'm 41. So real toxicity requires some other elements that were not very prevalent here. I'm not saying that they had a good relationship, because they did not. They had a horrible relationship. It kind of was like a Chuck and Blair type vibe, which, you know, did people describe Chuck and Blair as having a toxic relationship? I don't think so, you know, and I was heavy into the gospel girl world back then. So it follows them. They are childhood friends. They dated. They're now 23, and they had this great relationship until one day BJ cheated on her. Cheated on Magnolia, and then that started off a whole series of events where she feels like that she can't trust him, but she still loves him, and he's trying to make it up to her, but she doesn't want him, so she keeps rejecting him, and every time that she rejects him, then he goes to sleep with someone else, which then in turn makes her even more upset, because she wants him to fight for her and to show that he's better than that, but he's all confused because she, you know, she doesn't want him, but she lets him sleep in her bed, and they still have sleepovers. And when she gets in a relationship with someone else, it's understood with that other person that BJ is always going to be there, and, you know, he's an important part of her life. And so it's just, it's very like weird. And so I rated this book 3.5 stars, but I will tell you that this book has stuck with me so much. It has really stuck with me. I've made a playlist. I've done like a review on my book blog, which you need to go check out. I'll link it down below. Go check it out. I'm trying to be better about it, but this book has really stuck with me. And some of the quotes out of this book are just, I mean, Jessa Hastings can write a story. She can definitely write a story. Now, whether or not it's a story that's going to make you feel good, no, it's not. It's not going to make you feel good. It's going to make you mad. It's going to make you frustrated. It's going to heartbreak you. It's going to want you to want these people together, but you're like, no, I don't want them to be together. And then the whole friend group is wrapped up in it. I don't want to, I gave more spoilers in my review on my website. So if you are one of those people that wants to talk about Magnolia Parks, you can definitely DM me and we can talk, because I think that might be what half my problem is that I don't have anyone to talk about this book with, and that's why it has stuck with me. But the quotes from this book are amazing. Loving someone like I love her f***s you up a bit. F***ing up how I f***ed up also f***s you up a bit. Like, that's the epitome of the book right there. Alright? Painful things can still be beautiful things, in case you didn't know. Setting the tone right here. Setting the, there's one, I'm not going to go through here and read them all, but there is one that really highlights the whole relationship. Look, I have so many annotations of this book. It's just, whoa, I almost dropped my Kindle. Yeah, I have so many annotations here. It is absolutely ridiculous. Let me find, here it is. And I know that he smells like a Sunday morning. This is Magnolia talking about her current boyfriend, Tom England. And this is what she says. She says, and I know that he smells like Sunday morning. Slow, easy, uncomplicated. Like fresh coffee. New towels in a light flooded room. Oak moss, patchouli, bergamot, lavender. And if Tom smells like a Sunday morning, then BJ smells like a Saturday night spent in the emergency room. Don't think of BJ. And I just would love not to be in the emergency room anymore. Like, this is a story that is going to break you, and you're not going to be able to break away from it, even if you hate it, okay? It's just one of those things. All right, I think I've spoken enough about Magnolia parts, but you can go and read my blog post. All right, and the last book that I read this month was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Is it part of the Shadow and Bone series? No, it's not. It's really not. Like, I don't feel like that you need to read Shadow and Bone before you read this. I mean, you might be a little bit confused if you don't, because like you won't get the world building or whatever, but the story stands on its own. It's like none of the same characters or anything like that. So you can definitely understand the story and get into it without knowing all that. You just won't kind of understand the power of the Grisha and all of that. But you know, you'll get to learn it in the book. So this is basically a fantasy heist. Are these considered YA books? Yeah, I guess they are, because they are on the, yeah. So it's a fantasy heist. Kaz Brekker assembles a team to capture a scientist who has created a powerful drug. I forget what it's called. I don't know. I forget what it's called, but it basically like turns the Grisha into like this deadly weapon that cannot be stopped. And like once they're addicted, they can't get off of it. And so it's like, we all know the street drugs that are going around. It's kind of like that, and it will definitely like end up killing them. So it's like they only get 1 or 2 bouts with it, and then after that they're addicted. And so I guess they are trying to weaponize it, and they're trying to stop people from using it to whatever. So Kaz has been enlisted by a city official to go get this person so that they can stop making this drug. And so he assembles the team and everything. So it follows the ask, the assembly of the team, the plan, and the actual heist, and then you actually get the aftermath of it. And this is part 1 of a duology. So I'm currently reading Crooked Kingdom, which will be in the next one, but that is the second book. So it's got everything. I love a heist story. Like, I love them. I love watching them on Netflix. If it's a heist story, I'm interested. Okay. So, this book was like actually really exciting for me. The chapters went by really quickly. The chapters are told from the point of view of the people that are involved in the heist. So anyone that's on the team, anyone that may have been affected by the heist, they have a chapter maybe that's more towards the end. But I mean, it's a quick moving story. The characters are developed very well, and it's just exciting, and you want to know what's going to happen and everything, and then it's a fantasy heist, so there's magic and all of these things that are happening, and there's a little bit of love going on there too, but most importantly, there's a heist, and it's amazing. And I finished reading this book yesterday, and it's I don't want to rate it because like there's a whole other book, so that's going to depend on how I truly feel about it, but like I'm definitely giving that book 4.5 stars. I'm not sure if I'm ready to commit to 5 because I need to read the other book, because it's a whole story. It's not just that one book, but I am so intrigued. The characters were developed so well, and it was just so good. That's all I can really say. If you are into that type of like action, like the heist, I keep saying it, this is a book for you. Like, I really hope that you sit down and you read this book. I'm already kind of gotten my husband on it. So, like I said, I don't really feel like that you need to read Shadow and Bone before, but if you want to go ahead and commit to those 3 books and then read that book, I've read them all. Alright, I'm so excited that I actually made it to this video, and I feel like that it's going to be decent. Thank you so much for watching. I haven't come up with my TBR yet, so that's why I don't have a TBR to be adding onto here. So maybe I'll make a separate video for that. Don't forget to check out my book Insta and my book blog, and then of course I'm always going to have the videos, and I'm so excited to embark on a new journey here. It's going to be Angela plus like everything else. So I'm so excited to continue to be making videos. I'm actually excited about making content, and here I am making more content, and that's all that really matters. So comment down below what books you read in March or what you plan on reading in April, because I'm always building that TBR. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.